Hi trainers! Welcome to my Pokemon Unite beginner guide. We'll be going through Pokemon roles, moves and movesets, maps and objectives, lane positions, items and battle items, general tips and terminology. I'm Teeds, I played the Pokemon Unite beta and I'm also a MOBA player of 9 years. I hope my experience and my knowledge can assist you in being the very best at Pokemon Unite. Let's jump right into it. First, we're starting off with Pokemon roles. Pokemon Unite is a multiplayer online battle arena, MOBA for short. You'll be up against other trainers with your team. This is where roles come in. Roles are very important and they all have their own part to play in your team. There are 5 roles in Pokemon Unite. We have attackers. Attackers are Pokemon who are ranged and deal heavy damage. However, they have low endurance. Their role is to take down enemies and damage enemy Pokemon. Attackers are Pokemon like Pikachu, Cinderace, and Ninetales. So generally, these Pokemon deal a lot of damage but cannot take much damage at all. Defenders. Defenders are Pokemon who have high endurance, meaning they can tank damage. Their role is to protect their allies and hinder enemy Pokemon. Generally, defenders should be in front of your team, also called frontliners, and their role is to tank enemy damage and protect your allies. Defenders are Pokemon like Snorlax, Crustle, and Slowbro. Supporters. Supporters are Pokemon who provide team support. They can do this by healing allies or applying negative status conditions / debuffs to enemy Pokemon. Supporters are Pokemon like Eldegoss, Wigglytuff, and Mr. Mime. Speedsters. Speedsters are Pokemon who have high mobility, so they can move around quickly and with ease. They often make quick attack and have high scoring. Speedsters are Pokemon like Absol, Gengar, and Talonflame. And the last role is the All-Rounder. All-Rounders are Pokemon who are balanced in offense and endurance, so it's kind of like bruisers. Bruisers are basically roles who can take damage, but they can also deal damage. All-Rounders are Pokemon like Charizard, Lucario, and Garchomp. Generally, you'd want a team that has one of every role. Next, moves and movesets. Every Pokemon starts in battle with 2 moves it can use. These moves can be upgraded as you level up in-game. Your first 2 moves each have 2 upgradable options. Take Pikachu for example. Pikachu has 2 moves. One is Thundershock and the other is Electro Web. You can upgrade Thundershock into either Electro Ball or Thunder. You can upgrade Electro Web into either Volt Tackle or Thunderbolt. What moves you choose to upgrade into will strongly depend on what you like, combos, or situations in the game. Each move has its own benefit to teamfights. Don't worry at all about choosing the right move upgrade. As a beginner, you will learn over time on what works best for each situation. These moves work on cooldown, different from other MOBAs where they use things like mana. Pokemon moves at the moment purely just depend on cooldown, meaning you just have to wait for the timer to be used again. Every Pokemon also has a Unite move. Unite moves are different to regular moves. Unite moves do not work by timer, instead you will just build up the move by attacking things. Once it reaches 100%, you can use your Unite move. Unite moves are generally much more powerful than your regular moves. What's really important when using your moves, you do not want to just mash everything when it comes up. You want to combo things, whether that be your moves together or your moves with your allies. Next is the map and objectives. Pokemon Unite has multiple maps, but for this video, we'll be focusing on what seems to be their main game mode. Don't quote me on this one though. I'll make another guide for the other maps when it's released. Here is the map. It's quite big, so we're going to be using the mini-map version as well, which is what you'll be seeing in your games. On the map, there are 5 purple points and 5 orange points. These are called goal zones. Purple are your goal zones and orange are the enemy goal zones. Your goal in this game mode is to score points in the enemy goal zones and vice versa for the enemy. Points in this game are called AOS energy. They are the yellow balls. You can collect AOS energy through wild Pokemon. The yellow dots on your map, who are scattered around the battlefield, are where the wild Pokemon are located. Other methods are through enemy Pokemon who are controlled by other people. You can see how many AOS energy they've gathered next to their health bar. Those with a lot of AOS energy will pop up as well on your map. When an enemy is defeated, they will drop AOS energy points, which you can pick up by running over them. The more AOS energy points you hold, the longer it takes to score them in the goals. There is a max limit to how many AOS energy points you can hold. Each goal zone has their own limit to how many AOS energy points you can score. For example, the first goal zone on each team can only take 80 points. Once 80 points have been reached, it will disappear and you can then focus on the next goal behind it. The more goals you complete, the closer you get to the heart of their base. The game can be completed in 3 ways. 1. The timer. Each game has a maximum timer of 10 minutes. 2. You can score the maximum AOS energy points in all of their goal zones. And 3. you or the enemy team surrenders. On this map, there are 3 powerful wild Pokemon who grant various benefits to your team. Zapdos, who spawns in the middle of the map at the last 2 minutes of the game. Defeating Zapdos will destroy the enemy goal zone for 30 seconds. This means you can score AOS energy points into the goals without a wait time. Rotom. Rotom spawns after 3 minutes of the match in the top lane. When defeated, Rotom will move towards the enemy goal zone and upon reaching it, will instantly score points for you. However, it can also be taken down. Lastly, Dreadnought. Dreadnought spawns in the bottom lane. It will grant extra experience points and a temporary shield to the team. Around the map, you will also have jump pads. In base, eventually a jump pad will spawn, and you can use this to get to various goal zones on the map. The other jump pads are placed in the central area where you can use them to get over obstacles. These are great for rotations. There are also berries behind your goal zones and the enemy goal zones as well, which you can swoop in and steal. These berries will give you a large heal so you can quickly jump back into the fights. These berries will take some time to respawn, so I recommend giving them to who need it most. Your goal zones can also heal you slowly, but if you want a quicker heal and you're really low, I recommend going back to your base where you will heal for full health almost instantly. Here's what you should focus on when playing the game. Leveling up, your Pokemon will begin at level 1. To level up your Pokemon, all you have to do is defeat wild Pokemon or assist in taking down wild Pokemon with your allies. You can also gain experience points from taking down/assist kills on enemy Pokemon controlled by players. Collecting AOS energy points. You want to collect as many as you can or help your allies secure collecting AOS energy points. Deposit the AOS energy points into the enemy goal zones. This is so important. Holding onto too many will just make you a target or take way longer to put them into your goals. Defend your goal zones, and you can do this by damaging the enemy while they are trying to put in scores in your goal zones. Next is roles and lane positions. There are 2 lanes on the map, top and bottom lane. Central area is the middle. There is no set strategy yet for Pokemon Unite as the game is very new and strategies tend to change every major update. This will develop with time, but at the moment, a good general rule to follow is for top lane, defender and attacker role. Attackers will score goals and deal damage. Defenders will protect the attacker and the goal zones as well as help push through to the enemy goal zone. For the bottom lane, all-rounder and support. The all-rounder will protect and deal damage while the support will assist the all-rounder. And in the middle central area, the speedsters. Speedsters move super fast and deal high damage. They can focus on collecting wild Pokemon while also being able to quickly rotate between top and bottom lane to assist their allies. Next, we have items and battle items. I have a video going through all the specific stats of items and battle items, which will be linked here and down below, but here's a general overview of what they do. So, items can be equipped before a match. Items grant immediate bonus stats as well as passive stats that can activate during certain situations. You can level up your items up to level 30 and purchase more items from the shop. At trainer level 10, you can equip up to 3 items. Battle items. These can be equipped before a match and these items are manually used during battle. It's almost like another move basically. You unlock new battle items as your trainer levels up. In the shop, you can purchase new Pokemon to battle with as well as outfits for your trainer and your Pokemon. Next, the general tips. These are the tips I've gathered through my time on Pokemon Unite. Use the grass to your advantage. You can hide in the grass and sometimes enemies will completely lose track of you. Work with your team in team fights. If you're a defender or an all-rounder, try to stand in front of your allies. These are also called frontliners. If you're a support, focus on healing your allies and debuffing the enemies. If you're an attacker or speedster, focus on taking down the biggest threat to your team. Some Pokemon have really good Unite moves for team fights. These are generally area moves. I will explain this more in terminology. Do not hold on to too many AOS energy points. Try to safely push them to the enemy goal zones. Ask your allies for help if you have too many, making yourself a target. Make sure to keep an eye on the map. Be map aware. Move to the goals that need defending and assist allies that need help. Communicate with your teammates. If you choose to heal back at base, make sure to use the jump pads if it's there to quickly get back to your goal zones. Another tip for map awareness, you have to make sure you know what's happening around you. The mini-map is going to be your biggest aid in your battles. And lastly, terminology. Thank you so much for those who are still sticking with me. I swear it's almost done. Let's jump into it. Terminology is something that's really important in MOBAs that will transfer over to Pokemon Unite. Each MOBA has their own terminology, some with different wording but meaning the same thing. It may sound overwhelming, there is a lot of terminology, but I'll give you the ones that are most used. Rotate. Rotating is basically that. Rotating is when you move to one location to the other. Generally, rotating is used for fights. If you're away from a fight, you want to rotate to a fight. Farming. Farming is basically gathering experience points by defeating wild Pokemon or enemies. It can also be gathering AOS energy points. Aggro. This term refers to aggression of neutral Pokemon, so for example, if you're fighting one of the stronger wild Pokemon such as Zapdos, who has a ton of health and deals a lot of damage, if you're the one that's taking damage from Zapdos, you'll be losing health. You'll want to swap the aggression of the wild Pokemon to another teammate, preferably the tank. You can do this by stepping out the wild Pokemon's range, so we'll focus on someone else. You don't want to tank if you're going to die for it. AoE. AoE stands for Area of Effect, which a lot of Pokemon have. This means it can affect multiple enemies or teammates in the general area of the move. AoE is especially good for team fights or places with multiple enemies. Baiting is luring an enemy Pokemon to a disadvantageous position. You can do this by having them chase you if you're low health, only to ambush/surprise attack with your allies. Backdooring. I've done this before in the game, and backdooring is basically sneaking around to the enemy's objectives. You can backdoor by sneaking around enemies to score points in their vulnerable goal zones. Back. Backing or back is just going back to base to heal up. Buff/debuff. Temporary or permanent, something that boosts your stats, which is a buff, or decreases your stats, which is a debuff. CD. CD stands for cooldown. Cooldown is the time it takes for an ability/move to recharge after use. CC. CC stands for crowd control. Crowd control is any ability that stuns, slows, or disables, otherwise impede enemy movements and moves. Gank. Ganking is to ambush an enemy. So for example, speedsters will be roaming the central area, rotating to top or bottom lane and attacking an unsuspecting enemy is considered ganking. Harass/poke. Harassing and poking the enemy is usually using moves where you can safely damage the enemy, forcing them to retreat back, usually done with ranged attacks. Invade. Invading is going to the enemy territory to steal neutral objectives. So you could just be stealing wild Pokemon from the enemy side. MIA. Missing in action. Enemies are missing from where they usually are. So if your enemy in top lane is gone, you would call missing. Peeling. Peeling is to slow down or prevent an enemy from attacking an ally. Roam. Roaming or roam is wandering between lanes, usually done by the speedsters, but can also be done by any other Pokemon who are also just roaming if nothing is going on in their lane. Apart from speedsters, a lot of the time it could be the tanks or the supports. Squishy. Squishy Pokemon are the ones who don't have high defense and can be taken down easily. Last hit. Last hit is basically that, just last hitting the enemy target. Usually the person who last hits will get more experience points, and the last hitter will also get the AOS energy points. Last hitting is basically just the last person to hit it before it dies. Steal. You can steal the contested wild Pokemon. For example, if Zapdos was almost defeated by the enemy, you could swoop in there to grab the last hit at an attempt to steal it from the enemy. Zoning. Zoning is preventing an enemy from entering a certain area or space. This tactic is often used when securing objectives, so you could stand in front of your ally who is scoring points, trying to keep enemies off them. Proc. Proc refers to an item or move activating with a chance on hit or chance on use effect. So for example, an item has a chance to crit. When it does crit, that means it has proc. Alright, I think I covered everything. If you have any questions, please do ask them in the comments down below and I will try my best to answer every single one. I will also be making beginner guides for the other game modes once I've played them, and I will be making a guide for every single Pokemon in the roster as well. I will probably even make a more in-depth guide for the remote stadium game mode, as this one is just a general guide for Pokemon Unite, and I don't have the beta anymore, so I have to wait for release. I hope this has helped you. I've been really enjoying Pokemon Unite and I would love to share my knowledge to help others. Feel free to subscribe and click the bell for more Pokemon Unite guides, gameplays, news. Like this video if you found this helpful. I would really appreciate it. It will really help my videos and help me make more Pokemon Unite videos. Thank you so much for watching, trainers. Bye!